Attacks on southern Iran for yet another day as the standoff over the Strait of Hormuz intensifies. Iranian state media reporting explosions have been heard in at least 4 areas. The port city of Bandar Abbas, as well as Sirik and Jask, have been hit. Qashem Island off the coast of Iran has also been a target. These latest strikes come after US Central Command, or CENTCOM, confirmed it hit at least 140 military targets in Iran overnight on Sunday. In the past hour, CENTCOM confirmed US forces began launching more strikes against Iran to continue degrading their ability to attack civilian mariners as well as commercial ships freely transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The commander-in-chief has directed these strikes to hold Iranian forces accountable. Well, Heidi Jo Castro is live for us in Washington, but first of all, let's speak with Tawhid Asadi, who's in the Iranian capital. Tawhid, what do we know about the latest US attacks? Explain why these areas are being repeatedly targeted.
Yet another night of escalation we are witnessing in Iran, and now we have a list of, I would say, a longer list of different cities being targeted in Khuzestan province, also in Hormuzgan province, and in Sistan Baluchistan province. We've got several cities. Initial reports say that at least in 4 cities of Hormuzgan province, Jask, Sirik, and Qashem Island and Bandar Abbas, attacks have happened, explosions are reported, and these places are critically important, seeing their geostrategic role when it comes to the control and authority that Iran is trying to practice over the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the very fact that they are actually hosting radar sites and military facilities for the country. Qashem Island, for instance, is the largest island in the vicinity of the Strait of Hormuz. But added to that, in Khuzestan province, located in the southwestern parts of the country, we've got cities of Omidiye, Mahshar, Behbahan, Desful, and areas in the vicinity of Ahvaz in which attacks are reported. Also in Sistan Baluchistan, in the vicinity of Chabahar, we've got reports about the continued air strikes by the Americans. But one important location is in Markazi province, in the city of Khondab, outside the city, and that is important because it hosts the heavy water facility for the country. It was earlier attacked, and right now we've got reports about other attacks taking place there. And on the other hand, we are waiting to see how Iran is going to formulate its response, if it plans.
Let's go to Washington now. Correspondent Heidi Jo Castro is there. Heidi, what's CENTCOM been saying about these attacks?
Yeah, we've since received a statement from the spokesperson for U.S. Central Command, Captain Tim Hawkins, who tells Al Jazeera that over the past hour, IRGC forces fired at commercial shipping transiting the Strait of Hormuz. He goes on to say U.S. aircraft have successfully shot down an Iranian cruise missile and one-way attack drone so far. Now, that is in addition to what we knew earlier, that Central Command announcing this fresh wave of U.S. attacks on Iranian military targets, which began about 2 hours ago. That's said to be aimed at degrading Iran's ability to target commercial shipping in Hormuz and also targeting vessels in that waterway, Iranian vessels in that waterway. Donald Trump, the U.S. president, earlier in the day declaring that the strait was open, saying that previously the first wave of U.S. attacks had been what he called giving them hell in Iran. That, he said, was due to Iran violating the terms of this memorandum of understanding by attacking commercial vessels, which is where we've been leading to this point over the last week. So Iran saying that they are doing this to close the strait until the U.S. ceases to interfere in that waterway. So two very different interpretations, again, of whether the strait is open or closed. But what we know is, of course, as the two sides are trading fire across that waterway, very realistically, no ships are crossing at this point.
Let's get it back to Tawhid Asadi in Tehran now. Now, Tawhid, the Iranian Foreign Ministry has released a statement on this recent escalation. What's the sketch there?
Well, a trade of fire, as my colleague mentioned earlier, also a trade of different acquisitions between Tehran and Washington. And we've got the statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with a couple of important messages. First, they came out to condemn the American attacks in this already intricate situation. And they continue to say that this is a violation of ceasefire, violation of the memorandum of understanding that was signed about 26 days ago between Tehran and Washington, which was supposed to pave the way for further negotiations on the remaining controversies. But right now, it seems that other controversial issues are out there. Meanwhile, in the statement, they talked about the talks in Oman to find a ground for the future, the management of the Strait of Hormuz. And also, they said that the talks in Oman and the talks in that regard about the future of the Strait were disrupted by the pressures and behind-the-scene actions of the United States. This is what we had in this statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but there were two additional messages. First, a criticism that they were trying to direct towards the United States, claiming that this interference by Washington is making the situation further complicated. And also, one important further message was that of warning to the regional countries, those who plan or those who provide their territories for the American attacks to be conducted, to be carried out, to target Iranian facilities, Iranian territories. And that's, again, the same message that we have been hearing from Tehran, saying that these actually countries run the risk of the U.S. military bases being attacked on those territories if these attacks continue.
Thank you, Tawhid Asadi, there live for us in Tehran. Let's get it back to D.C. and what Heidi is there. President Trump has been saying the strait is still open. Is it?
Well, that's the big question here. If you ask those who are trading oil at the moment that have caused the price of Brent crude to tick up to $79 a barrel since the opening, apparently they probably don't think it is, because ultimately, just no matter what the president's rhetoric is, what it boils down to is how many barrels of oil are getting out of the Strait of Hormuz. And the latest figures from Kepler, which are from last Thursday, just as these attacks were escalating, was 22 ships a day, which is paling in comparison to the 130 that would have crossed daily prior to the start of the war. And that all spells trouble back home for President Donald Trump, because as gas prices continue to spike in the U.S., Americans have been clear that they mostly blame President Trump starting this conflict with Iran for those higher prices, and his approval ratings have really gone down even lower due to that belief. Now he's polling at 40% approval, 56% disapproval. That's the aggregate of polls on presidential performance, and that does not spell well for him nor his Republican Party, as the upcoming congressional elections are just around the corner.
Heidi, thank you. Heidi Jo Castro joining us live there from Washington, D.C. Let's get it back and stay with Washington, because we're going to speak now with retired General Mark Kimmett. He's a former U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Political Military Affairs, and he's also there in the U.S. Capitol. General, good to see you. It does look like it's one step forward, two steps back again.
No, I think you're right. I think it's unfortunate that Iran started this next round by violating the terms of the MOU and attacking civilian targets. The United States is appropriately responding. I hope it doesn't go beyond where we are right now. I hope cooler minds will prevail, and we'll get back to negotiations.
Well, this is just it, isn't it? And those negotiations, this is the problem, don't seem to be going anywhere. And it does seem as though it's not really a memorandum of understanding, more so a memorandum of misunderstanding.
No, I agree with you to an extent, but there was no misunderstanding on the part of the Iranians when they pledged to open up free and unfettered access in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. And their demands that they can open and close it at will, demands they made before the MOU, demands to start charging tolls going through the Strait of Hormuz, demands that Oman does not have the right to determine what to do in their own territorial waters. And when any of those demands outside of the MOU are violated, that they feel that they must use military force against civilian traffic, I think that that's just a recipe for the entire negotiations to collapse.
General, you are hoping that I suppose, cooler heads do prevail here. How do you think it plays out?
Well, I am afraid it will not play out well. Despite what your correspondent from Washington, D.C. says, I don't think that Donald Trump has the slightest concern about the elections upcoming. I think he's taking a fatalistic view as it pertains to those elections. In terms of the economy back here is doing fine. The stock market is hitting record levels. Inflation has been negated substantially. So I think that adds up to a president that feels he has unlimited capability to do whatever he needs to do to win this war, or at least not lose this war. Correspondingly, inside of Iran, they're taking, as you and I have talked about many times, a resistance model, where their goal is not to win, but it's simply not to lose. And they feel that they've got the patience that they can take these continued body blows delivered by the United States and wait us out until the United States says, we're tired of this and we're going to just walk away from this and allow Iran to do whatever it wants. Those two conditions, an America that is still willing to fight and an Iran that is still willing to push its demands, even though it's being frequently attacked, I think it just is a recipe for continued military operations unless there is a significant catalyst to change the conditions on the ground.
General, thank you very much indeed. General Mark Kimmett there, joining us live from Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
What is your own opinion? Drop it in the comment section. Let's know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on this channel by subscribing and turn on the bell so that anytime I publish the next video, YouTube will get you notified. I really appreciate your time for watching. Bye.